Last weekend, 2,500 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders met to celebrate their life and culture at the annual Garma festival. But the failure of the Voice to Parliament referendum last year, which would have given Indigenous Australians constitutional recognition, brought an air of sadness. The federal government admitted as long ago as 2008 that its relationship with the country's First Nations peoples had been problematic.
We apologise for the laws and policies of successive parliaments and governments that have inflicted profound grief, suffering and loss on these our fellow Australians.
The government's own Closing the Gap strategy lists 19 targets for the Indigenous population, including health, education, employment, housing and the justice system. The latest analysis shows many of those key measures sliding backwards. Just a few days into her new post, the Indigenous Affairs Minister acknowledged the difficulties at the Garma Festival.
I do want to see us rise above treating Indigenous affairs as a political football when there are so many of our people committing suicide, when there are so many of our people incarcerated and needing the kind of support from their leadership.
The colonisation of Australia by Britain in the 18th century was disastrous for the Indigenous people. Many of the issues today have their roots in the attitude of successive governments that treated Aboriginal people as subhuman. Joseph Archibald grew up watching his mother fight for Aboriginal land rights movements in the 1990s.
She planted those seeds in and around what it means to have a really strong moral compass and an obligation to know where you come from, know what you stand for and not be afraid to stand in that space.
Today, Joseph is Executive General Manager of Windan Indigenous Services. For 12 years, he's walked alongside many vulnerable Indigenous people.
One young man we've worked with came to us with a long history of offending. He should be in jail or he should be dead, based on his background, but he's been able to now live independently.
Many of Joseph's clients have similar patterns. He believes it's hard for them to remember the strength of their own culture.
The truth of it is the strength and the love and the connection and the oldest surviving culture in the world. There's all this beauty there, and that the ugliness is just symptoms of what has been perpetrated against Aboriginal people.
This bilingual school teaches in the local Aboriginal language and in English and is the first of its kind in New South Wales. Ventures like this show a desire to right the wrongs of the past and move forwards. Annette Lee, TRT World, New South Wales.